Okay, I think we are live and okay, just give me a second. I'll start it. Okay, so yeah, good evening and welcome back to our third day for HTML CSS. I have a little setup to do first. Just doing that. I think my audio is visible or audible. I'm audible and visible. Just a quick check, and let me just share my screen in a minute. Mm, yeah. So, are you able to see my screen? I hope it is visible to you. Yeah, good evening, everybody. And today we are basically going to cover the CSS part, so like the actual beauty part and all. So that like most of the people are actually interested in CSS more than HTML. Obviously, CSS is basically little more complicated than HTML, and it is what makes your website appealing and different from everything out there in the web. So shall we start? If everything is good enough, so we can start with. First of all, let me just go live real quick. hmm Just give it a second. So it's just getting started. Let me just hide it in Pray, and I'll just close this as well real quick and starting. Just yeah. Okay, so here we left yesterday, and we have to basically continue from here only. So why don't we just remove all the CSS real quick, because we are going to do our own CSS right now. So I'm just going to remove this all, like everything from here, and let's just have a simple division here, or let's just have a simple H1 tag, HTML CSS essentials. And now we are just going to make this heading little bit more appealing to eyes. And how we are going to do that? By using CSS. So first of all, CSS, like it stands for cascading style sheets, and we actually don't have to bother about the names and all. So how this thing actually works now? So it's a completely different topic. It's not related to HTML at all. It's not related to HTML. So it's a completely different topic. So you can basically create a separate file with the name of .css, and you can basically attach that particular file to your own HTML, and all you can do that all stuff here. But let's just start doing the styling part now. So for that, first thing that you have to do is to use a very special tag, and we call this tag style. So this is basically a style element that we are going to create here. And this is the style element. And inside this, we are actually going to write our CSS. So all of our CSS is going to be get here now. And CSS have two parts. So first part is selecting something. So you have to select something, and second is to basically apply some CSS properties. The second part you can say is CSS properties and all. So properties. Okay. So let me just tell you about the first part. To style something, suppose if you want to style this H1, like we right now we just have this H1 here. And if you want to style this H1, first of all, you have to select this H1 inside your CSS. And remember, we are going to write all of our CSS just here in our head tag. You basically have to create this style element, and here you have to basically write all of your styles and all. So I'm just going to write first line of our CSS, and that is going to be a selector. And I just want to select this particular element, this element. And if you see here, the tag of this element is h1. Okay, so I can just write here, let's say h1. Yeah. So like you have basically successfully selected this H1 just by writing H1 here. So it's a selector. We call it CSS selector. And by using, like, we have so many selectors here. So this is the basic one, huh? First and like the most basic selector we have in CSS. So it's just going to select H1 for you. So it's just going to look for all the H1s inside your web page, like inside your body. And in our body, we have this H1 here. So like we have selected it. And after that, you just have to put these curly brackets. Yep. And after that, what you can do, like inside this curly brackets, you can basically write some CSS property. So there are so many CSS properties, and as I told you, like you don't have to memorize all of them. You just have to like थोड़े बहुत भी आते हैं, like You just have to know about the basics one, like basic CSS properties, and how all these properties actually work. So like what is the funda behind a CSS property. So like we have so many CSS properties here if you see. So first CSS property that I'm going to go work with is color, and I'm just going to make it red. Okay, so it's a CSS property, and CSS property have two parts. Again, it is going to have two parts. First is the name of your property, and second is the value. So this is the property color, and the value I'm just going to put here is red, and that's all. So if I'll just save it, see, now our H1 is now red. Okay, so as you can see, our H1 is now red. And the thing is, you can basically mention multiple CSS properties here. And you have to end a CSS property by a semicolon. If you look closely, I have basically used a semicolon to basically end this CSS property. Na? And after that, you can add one more CSS property. Let's just go with a background color. So this background CSS color property is just going to give that thing a background color. So let me just go with this black. So now it is having a black color. Okay, so it's not being that good. Okay, and let me just change this color. So this is how. So these are the two most basic CSS properties that you're going to use a lot. These are some of the most commonly used CSS properties here. So like this is a basic example of CSS. And to be honest, whole CSS is just doing this thing, selecting something and applying some CSS property. That's all. Like that's how easy it is. You just have to select something and then you have to basically apply some CSS properties there. So let us cover some more selectors, and then we will move to some of the basic CSS properties and all. Okay. So right now, let me just open a website here. The name of the website is Color Hunt. From here, you can choose some good looking colors and all. So yeah. So let me just remove it, and I'm just going to choose some color from here. So start generating, explore the colors. So we can basically select some colors from here because I will need some colors to put on our screen. So you can choose any color palette. So let's just go with this one. This one. Huh? So first thing first, I just want to have a background color for all of, like for whole my website. Like for my complete website, I just want to have a background color. So for that, just take a guess which element you should select to give up, like which element is going to give a background color to our complete website. So right now we just have two elements here, body and the actual. So if you just want to give a background color to like complete your website, like to like to all of your website. So which, yeah, body. Yeah. So you guessed it correctly. So I'm just going to write here. Let's say just select the body. Like again, body is just an element now. So we can select this. And here I'm just going to write here. Let's say background color, and let's just go with this color, and just put a hash. And let me just copy this thing. I think it is not getting copied. I think I have to select this here first. Where was that color palette? I think we selected this one. No? Okay, so now it got copied, and I'm just going to paste it here. So let me just choose a different website. So this one is not having that select to copy. So I'm just going to go with the color hunt. So I like this one more, like color hunt. So it's one of my go-to website to whenever I just want to choose some colors and all. I'll just go to this website and let's just have this darker background color. No? So okay. And now what is this? So it's a basically it's a color code. So like all the colors have some different codes. So it's a color code. No? It's we call it a hex color code. So you can just write here hash, and after that you basically have to mention a number. That's basically a hex number, and we are not going to focus on that because that's a completely different realm. So this is a color code, and each and every color will basically have these color codes. So either you can write here the name of your color, so like red, black. So this is the predefined colors we have here, cyan, dark cyan and all. So these all are the colors we have here. But I'll just go with the color code. So like if you just want, if you are so nitpicky and if you want to have a very specific color, so in that case you have to basically write a color code here. Yeah. So now my whole website have a background color of this. Why? Because I just selected this body, and inside my body I'm just applying this color. Okay. And let's have a text color as well. So I'm just going to write here, let's see color here. So color is basically the text color here. And for the text color, let's just go with this one, a little whiter one. Okay, that's looking a little better here. And now let me just have one more H1 here. So HTML essential and CSS essential. So right now I have two HTML elements here, H1 and H1. If you see here, like the two HTML elements, isn't it? And if I just go over here and if I just type H1 and if I apply some color to this, so let's just go with this orange one for no reason, and I'm just going to apply this color for this. And if you see now, what is going to happen? It is just going to apply this color to all the H1s inside your body. So right now you have like two H1s here, and it is just going to apply this color to both the elements. But that's not I want. I just want to give this HTML a separate color and this CSS a separate color. So how you can like pull up this trick? So for that we have another selector. So this is this selector. This is we call this thing tag selector. So it's a tag selector, tag selector. Okay, the tag selector is not that useful. Okay, sir, we use inner HTML. Okay, Naga, I think I'm just going to call you Naga Janit. Like, we have three ways to use the CSS. I'm just going to cover all of them. By the way, it doesn't matter which way of styling you are using. There are little difference in inline styling, in the external styling, and in the like in the same file for internal, external, and inline. So we have three ways to apply the CSS. So I'm just going to come to that part. So don't worry. So right now we are. This is basically this way of writing CSS. We call it as internal CSS. So this is actually we call as internal CSS. We have two more ways: external and then we have inline. So I generally prefer to go with the external one. So right now we are basically internal is the most easiest one, but we don't use it a lot. Either you're just going to go with the external, or sometimes, like very rarely, you're going to go with this inline. But right now we are just doing that. Yeah, we are going to use ID. Yeah. The second selector is called the ID selector. So this is the tag selector. Then we have something called ID selector. Let me just show you how ID selector works. So remember, like yesterday I told you that each of every element can have attributes, and there is an attribute called ID. So you can give this ID attribute to each and everything. The only thing that you have to keep in your mind is that ID should be unique. So if I'm just going to give this ID of, let's say, 1, then I cannot give this one ID to anything else. Like you can, but don't ever try to do that. Otherwise, you will just end up with some errors and all. So I'm just going to give it ID of 2. Okay. And I just want to select something on the basis of its ID. Okay. So I just want to select this H1 on the basis of its ID. So it's very easy. Just go over here and type your ID. So instead of your tag name, just write your ID name. And after that, use this curly brackets here. But one thing that you have to like do extra here is that if you're selecting something on the basis of ID, then you have to put a hash before your ID. So here we have our ID name, and here we have to put this hash here. Okay, so we don't have to do this for the tag selector. So in the case of tag selector, it's just very straightforward. Just type the name of your tag and that's all. But in the case of ID, you also have to put this tag selector before your ID name. And now if I'll just provide any CSS styling, let me just select a different color for now. So let's just go with this yellow one. And I'm just going to make it a, let's say, color here, and this. So what is going to happen? So this CSS style, it's just going to get applied to this H1, the element with the ID of 1, the element with the ID of 1. That's all. Sir, why in the body you have given? Why in the body you have not given this arrow in the body which you are coloring? Okay, so Anmol, as I told you, that this is a tag selector. So in the case of tag selector, you can directly write the name of the tag. So like H1, P, anchor, A, remember? And also we had used like table, UL, LI. So these all are the tags. In the case of tag selector, you don't have to put this hash before that. Huh? But here I'm selecting this H1 on the basis of its ID. So this ID is 1 here. Yeah. So this here we have the ID one. So if you want to select an element on the basis of its ID, in that case you have to basically put this hash before the name of the ID. So that's the difference between an ID selector and a tag selector. Like in the difference in the way how you write them. Okay, and how you use them. Like ID selector is just going to select the element with this particular ID. So let me just give it a say. So see, now what is going to happen, like this ID selector is just selecting this H1 here. Now if you want to select this H1 as well, so like this H1 as well, and I just want to give it a some different color. So I'm just going to put here hash 2 and let's just give it some different color. So like this magenta or whatever this is. Okay, that's all. Okay, so this is what we call as a ID selector. Okay, so right now we covered this is a text selector, then we have the ID selector. Let me just have a paragraph as well. So I'm just going to put a paragraph here as well. And why don't we write something? And let me just write this. HTML is a standard markup language. Yep. So here we have a paragraph tag, and I'm just going to repeat this paragraph 2 times. And let me just rename it to CSS. And CSS is a language that we use to style the document. Okay. So if you just want to change the color of all the paragraph tags in your document, so just go over here. I'm just going to put a P tag, and here you can basically write any CSS property. So I'm just going to go with the color because it's one of the most basic one. So let's just choose a different color. So let's just go with this bluer one and put a hash, and that's all. Now this is a tag selector now. So it is going to select all the paragraphs from your document. So this paragraph P is actually going to select all the paragraphs. So right now we have 2 paragraphs here. So this one and this one. And it is basically going to apply the CSS property, that color, bluish color, to both the paragraph tags. Yeah. So this is a paragraph tag selector one more time. And now after that we have one more selector that we use a lot of time. That is called the class selector, and we are just going to do that. Before that, I just want to ask you, like, if you have any doubts still here, like in the ID selector, in the text selector, and in the way how you use your CSS. So to use your CSS, just create this style element here in your head, like inside this head element, and here you can write all of your CSS. So is it clear? Let me just read some chats and all. So it says, yeah, we will cover all of this later. Don't worry about that. Sir, why? Okay, so I think Anmol, I have answered your question. It's it's internal CSS. So this is what we call internal CSS. Okay. So before moving to the next part, so let's just cover the class selector as well, and then I'll just tell you how you can use your CSS in different ways. So like we have multiple ways to use your CSS. Let me just put this thing here and this thing here. Okay, so moving on. Suppose you have, let's say, let me just create a list element for you. So I'm just to create a list. We have something called UL and OL. So right here, let's say OL. So it is the tag we use to create a ordered list. And if you'll save it, you won't going to see anything. I'm just going to write here li. So it is the element that we use to create a ordered list. So inside this li, you can basically write something. So I'm just going to write, let's say, HTML is good. Okay. So you will have this, and let me just add one more element here, and it is used to create the web page. Save it. Like don't now it looks like I'm writing an essay for the second and third class student, but like who cares? So and let me just write blah blah here. Like I'm out of ideas, so I'm just going to go with the blah. And let me just create one more ordered list here. So OL, first you have to use OL, and inside it you can basically and write create some elements, right? Li, and li, it is css, and let me just write some good things about css here. Some good things about css, and why don't we add one more here? uh, let's go with again some text and all. Okay, so it's one of the most difficult part of creating a website. Yeah. So suppose if you want to make some allies red and some allies white, okay, depending on the situation. So let me just choose two colors here. So like this pinkish one and this blue one. So I just want to make these two allies in this particular color, bluish one, and these two allies in this color. So how you can do this? So there's one more selector we call as class selector. So as a ID, like you can have ID for each and every element here. No? So you can either give ID here, and you can give the ID here as well. So similarly, you can also give something called class. So what is this class is now? Class is same as ID. Like ID and class are same, but there is only one difference. That ID should be unique, but class you can give multiple things the same class. So I'm just going to write here. Let's say class here, and a class here, and class here, and a class here as well. Okay. Yep. And I'm just going to write here. Let's say blue color, and I'm just going to give this class to this one as well, and I'm just going to give it a red color, and let's just give it a red color class as well, like this one, and let's just give blue color here and a blue color here. Okay, so now we have just given some classes to these allies now. So like some of these classes are like same, like for this is also blue class, this one blue, yeah, and these two are red. So if you just want to select something on the basis of their class, so right now I just want to select all the elements with a particular class. So just write the name of a class. So I'm just going to write a red color, and inside this you can basically provide a color or a property. So it's not red actually, no, it's pinkish and all. And but if you are going to select something on the basis of your class name, you have to put a dot before that. Okay, so this is a class selector. So now it's just going to select all the elements with the class of red color. So now your css is actually going to select all the elements with the class of red. So right now we have two elements here, this one and this one, with the class of red. So if I'll just save it, see, so this one and this one is getting this pinkish color. Let me just do this for the blue color as well. So like blue color, and if you are going to select something on the basis of the class name, so what you have to do, like you just have to put a dot here. Okay, so in the case of ID you have to put a hash. Okay, and in the case of a class you basically have to put a dot. So that's all. Like these are the top three used tags selectors. Okay, element selector in the css. So the first one, so let me just order them. So first one is called, the first two, these two are called as the tag selector. The first two are actually called as the tag selector. So these two are the tag selectors. In the case of tag selector, you just have to write the name of your tag, like name of your HTML element, like body, h1, h2, paragraph, image, anchor, ul, whatever tag you want to select. And it is just going to style all all the tags inside our HTML document. Yeah. And then we came to know about the ID selector. So this is the ID selector, and if you want to select an element on the basis of its ID, so in that case you can use the ID selector. So it is just going to select an element like depending what is the ID of that element is. And at the very end, this is the class selector. So if you want to select an element on the basis of its class, so you can just use this class selector. The difference in the ID and the class selector is simple. In the case of ID selector, you have to put a hash symbol, like hash, before the name of your ID. And here you have to mention your class name, and you have to put a dot before the class name. And it's, we are just selecting all of this, and we basically right now we just have a colored document here, and yeah, that's all. So this is all about the class selector. And what is the difference between ID and class? Like id should be unique, so you cannot give two elements a same id. You can, but never do this. You will fall into some unnecessary errors and all. And in the case of class, you can give multiple elements a same class. So you can see here, so these two elements are having the same class, blue color and the blue color. Here also we have two elements with the same class, blue color, blue color, blue color. Okay, so this is actually like the whole three basic selectors and all. So if you don't have any doubts here, so we can move to the next topic. Div selector or not? Yeah, Anmol, we have a div selector. So you can like div is like this is, suppose you want to select a division. So suppose I have a division here as well. So like our div here, and hello, I am a div. So like you tell me how to select this particular element. If you just want to select this element, how you are going to do this? Drop. Yeah, I'll just let you know about my VS Code theme. Don't worry. Can you show? Like I have so many extensions. So like Sai Prakash, it's a huge list of extensions. I'll just show you the extension list in a minute. Yeah, tag selector. Just use the div. Exactly. So if I just want to select this division, I'm just going to use the tag selector. Which one? The div. So I'm just going to go over here and just write the name of your tag, div. So like now I can select the division. So let me just go with this particular color, and now it got selected here. So let us have a little darker color. So this is how you can select the elements on it. And the VS Code theme I'm using is, I think, Material Dark. So this is the VS Code theme I'm using, Community Material Theme, Ocean High Contrast. So this is the theme I'm using right now in my VS Code. Yeah. Okay. So if any doubts, if yes, so I can just recap it to you, or otherwise we can move to the next topic. Mm-mm-mm. I hope you don't have any doubts, and all. Okay. So now I'm just going to ask you a question. So what is going to happen? What is going to happen if I'm just going to select? Let's suppose I'm just going to create a H1 here. Okay, so H1, and please make me pretty and sad. Okay, so like nose emoji for sad. Cry. Okay. And here I'm just going to select this particular thing. Yeah. So I'm just going to select this H1 here. So let's select your H1, and I'm just going to give it a color. So let's just go with this pink color here, and this, and save. So like obviously it is going to become that pinkish color. Yeah. And I'm just going to give it an ID as well. ID of, let's say, title. And I'm just going to select this particular element with the title ID. Title. And then here I'm just going to apply some different properties. So let's just go with this orange one. Color. Okay, now take a guess what is going to happen. So in this particular situation, what I'm doing now, I'm just selecting this H1 by using two CSS selector. So like this H1 selector, it's just also going to select this and this title. It's ID selector, isn't it? It is also going to select this element, like because the ID of this element is title. So here we are selecting the element like two times, one by tag selector and also by a ID selector. So according to you, like this title is going to be pink or orange? Like pink or orange, orange color, orange. Like just take a guess. What could be the reason? Like pink or orange? Yeah, so let me just show it to you. Like, yeah, so it is going to be orange. And what is the reason? So like it does not depend on the order as well. So if I just write this ID selector like before, and if I'll save it, it's still orange. Okay, so this is ID, and this is the ID selector, and by using the ID selector, I'm giving it an orange color, and by using this tag selector, I'm going to give it a pink color. But like this thing is actually right now it's orange. So why? So because the reason is because of CSS specificity. Like it's a very complex topic. but let me just break it down to you in a very simple terms. So according to you, in these two selectors, which is more specific for, like which is more on dot, like which is more specific for this HTML element, like this H1 element, this tag selector or the ID selector? So let me just create one more now. Also, also make me beautiful right now, and I'm just going to give it a subtitle. Okay. So now I have two elements here, the H1 with the ID of title, and again H1 with the ID of subtitle here. Yeah. And I'm going to select the H1s, and I'm just giving them the pink color. And I'm just selecting all the title text. So like all the elements with the ID of title, I'm giving them the orange color. So here in this case, ID is more specific. ID is more specific. Let me just give you an analogy. So what happens now, you can take as ID. So suppose if you are we have a person name of this like a boy, he's Mukesh, na? So Mukesh, okay, Mukesh is actually is going to work in an office, or let's say in a school. So Mukesh in 10th state 10th standard, and he is actually studying in a school. Okay. And his school gonna have like multiple classes, like first class, second class. So the ID card, like Mukesh have it's his own ID card now. So that is like a ID selector. And the school is like a tag selector. Suppose the name of your school is, let's say, KV. Like KV is the name of your school, and the class, like he's in the 10th class. So if I want to select Mukesh, if I just want to find Mukesh in that school, so which is like most useful for me, like a class selector, like a class ID or a school name. So if I just going to look for Mukesh in his school, like his school can have, let's say, 3,000 students. So that I can say that like school name is not specific, like obviously, because like by using the school name, I'm just going to look for like 3,000 students there. Now I'll just go with the class, like the class. So class is like a class selector. So if I'll just, okay, so I know Mukesh is in 10th class. So even now also, like in the 10th class, you can have, let's say, 100, 200 students. So now that's also not more specific. But if I know the ID card, like the roll number of Mukesh, so that's very specific. So if I know the roll number of Mukesh, like it's very easy for me to find him in that school. So I can just go and who is this the boy with this particular number. So in that case, what we can like say that the ID selector, like ID is the most specific one. And if I want to find someone on the basis of its ID, it's more specific. And like then we have class, and then we have tag. So tag is the least specific. So tag is least specific. That's why its priority is less. Its priority less. And ID is the more specific selector. So that's why the ID selector have more priority. So if you're just going to select something on the basis of like by using multiple selectors, so it is just going to apply the CSS property of the more specific selector here. So that's why the ID is the most specific selector we have in CSS. So, and suppose in this case, if I'll just have a class name as well, class, and let's say class of heading, head, yeah. And I'm just going to select this thing by the class as well. And by using the class, I'm just going to give it a separate color. So let's just go with this green one now. And the color, and this. Okay. So right now, if you'll see that right now, the styling of the ID is only applied. So ID was giving it an orange color. So that's why this is orange. So if I'll just remove this ID part. So now you have to take a guess. Now you have to take a guess what is the color of this first H1 is going to be. It's going to be pink or green, like pink or green. Does the class work with the, no, Rohan, in the case of class, you only have to put the dot. Okay, so pink or green. So in these two selectors, which one is more specific? So this tag selector is like a schools, no? Like you can have so many H1s inside a single web page, and it is like a class. a class of your school. So it's like 10th class, 12th. So which one is more specific? Which one is more specific here? So pink or green? Pink or green? Green, 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 green. Exactly. So it is going to be green. See, it is going to be green because like this class selector is more specific than this text selector, because text selector is very general. So like every H1 can have this pink color. And if I just remove this class selector from here, like obviously then it's going to be pink. So now right now we are just having a single selector H1 here. Okay, so this topic we call as specificity. So like it's one of the most difficult topic in CSS, and I hope you understood this. So any doubts in specificity, like always take it as like in that order na. So which one is more specific to select something? So it will be easy for you to please show the full code once. So like this is the full code here. Let me just remove all the unnecessary spaces. Here, okay, from here as well. So this is the complete code. And let me just have a class here as well. And let's have a different color for this thing. Okay. So I hope, yeah, like oh, your name is so difficult to pronounce. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you about the internal and the external CSS. Just wait for a minute. Okay, so can we move to the next topic? Yeah, I'm just going to do that internal external, just like like have uh is there a specificity is necessary to learn? Yeah, Anmol, you have to understand like the concept of CSS. So like that's all, that's all completely all about specificity. We have a little bit more about specificity, but that's more than enough. Like it's more than enough. Yeah, hello. Okay, so now we are just going to move to the next part, and which says like this. So if I'm just going to use a selector two times, so right now I'm using this H1 selector two times. So for the first time by using H1 selector, I was giving the pink color, and for the second time, I'm just giving a green color. So now you have to take a guess. So what is the color it's going to be? So let me just change it to, let's say, some red one. Okay, and here a red and green. So like take a guess. Like right now I'm selecting a same element with different selector, same selector two times. Okay, so I'm just selecting this H1 two times by using the same selector here, H1 and H1. So now just take a guess, what is going to be, green or red? So let me just give it an answer like straightforward. It's going to be green. So the reason is like if you're going to select something on the basis of same selector, if you're selecting something, like if you're going to select something on the basis of same selector,
Just give me a confirmation if I'm audible. There is some issue with Sanjay sir's laptop, so I think we need to disconnect and continue tomorrow this session. So just give me a confirmation if I'm okay. I think I'm visible. Okay, sir. So I think everyone that we will have to continue our session tomorrow with the same topics. Sh- okay. So Sanjay sir will not able be. Okay. I just got the confirmation that Sanjay sir's laptop is dead. So I think we need to continue our session tomorrow. We will continue with these selectors and all tomorrow at the same time, 6:30. Thank you guys for joining, and just check out our full stack and future day program. So if you're like interested in learning full stack program, you can just check it out. Our programs in description. And if you want to like have a subscription, or you can say weekly new workshops or weekly new skills, so you can just check it out our future day program. We are just offering it for 399, which is like super exclusive price, so you can get it as low as for 399. So just check them out. Bye bye guys. Fees for full stack, it's 36 600, but we are offering like a huge discount on full stacks now. So Anmol, if you want to enroll, you can get as low as like 29 600 too. So just connect with us. We will absolutely help you with your admissions. Assignment, we have an assignment today. You just have to build a web page using 10 HTML tags. So just check that out in one link only. Okay guys, I'm just taking the leave. Bye. Yeah, 29 is the like effective price. You can just get it as low as 29 600 right now. Okay, just wait a sec, sir. Hi Sanjay sir, can we continue or we okay?
Sorry for the interruption. Like because of my webcam, like it got crashed. So yeah, sorry for all the other.
Okay.
And we can just continue
So
from where we left.
okay,
So I'm just
so I was just telling them that we may have to continue this session tomorrow. So thank you.
no
You
worries.
just got here at the time.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
so I'm
sir.
just going to
So you
share my
can
screen
continue.
in a
I'll
minute.
just take a leave. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye. So sorry for the delay, and again, like you won't be able to see my face today, and I think that's a win situation for you. Don't have to see me. I'm just going to share my screen in a minute, and we will continue from the place from where we left. So like that was the issue from my webcam. So that section not a webcam, a complete camera, and it got crashed, and because of that, uh, like my stream got like interrupted. So are you able to see my screen? So just in a minute you will be able to. I have just shared it. Yeah, so I hope like you are able to see my screen. Okay, so that's great. And now, like till our website, like web page is getting loaded, let me just tell you about this thing real quick, like how you can mark your attendance. Like you have to mark your attendance to get a certificate. So just inside your description, and inside this description, you will get this thing, everything at one place. So this is what we call as a one link here. Just click on this and just wait for a few more minutes. A quick refresh here. And here just go for this day 3, mark your attendance. So how much you like this session, like first I think you will get here. So how much you like our session from 0 to 10. So don't like, please don't give me 9 or 6 because my stream got crashed, so that's not my fault, so forgive me about that. Yeah, by the way, you can just go with 0 to 10 years. I'm just still going to give myself a 10 year. And if you're interested in our 6 months of full stack program, you can just mark yes and no. So I'm just going to put a yes here, and if any suggestions, so just that as well. So this is very straightforward, like how you can mark your attendance. And now we can continue with our session. So like this is the one thing that I have to do it every day. Otherwise, you will basically forget how to mark the attendance and all. Okay, that's great. So in this case, what is going to happen? Like whatever you are going to use to that select. So here I'm selecting this particular h1 by using the h1 tag here and the h1 tag here as well. So whatever you are going to write afterwards, it's going to get applied. So it's just going to be like this. So here in this particular case, I'm using this h1 after this h1. Okay, so that's how it's gonna be red. If I'll just put this h1 after this, it's gonna be green. Okay, so that's very straightforward, like no rocket science here. So whichever is going to come afterwards is going to be get applied. Okay, so this is actually related to the order. Let me just start my pen as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to tell you about something about internal external CSS. So right now we were writing all of our CSS in the same file here, like in this our HTML, and I just want to write my CSS in a separate file because you're not going to write all of your CSS here. So it's gonna make your this file like very huge, like number of lines of code is going to get increased. So what I'll suggest you is to create a separate file. So I'm just going to, and you can name this file anything. I'm just going to go with style, and you only have to keep in mind that extension of your file should be .css. Yeah, so it should be .css, and here you can write all of your CSS. So I'm just going to copy paste this whole code, and I'm just going to paste it here. And the first thing you will notice, that all of my CSS is now gone. So like as you can see, like we don't have any CSS applied to our web page. So let me just write here background color, and let's just put a aqua green here. So as you can see, no CSS property is getting applied. To fix this, inside your head you basically have to use another tag, and that is called as the link tag. So this link tag we use this link tag to connect a file with our HTML file. So this is our HTML file, isn't it? And we want to connect, and we just want to connect this CSS file with our HTML file. So somehow I just want to connect this CSS file with our HTML file. So for that purpose, we are going to use this link tag. It's very easy to use this link tag here. Just go over here, and here you have to mention href. So like this is also going to have this href here, and here you have to mention the name of your style. So this is our style sheet, huh? So link tag is going to have an attribute href, like that anchor also had that attribute now. So this href is basically common for link and the anchor, but here you just have to put your file name, like relative path to your file name. And second thing you have to mention is the type of relation. So relation, and here we always type as style sheet and save it. So see, our styling is getting applied here. So like first thing first, always use this href, and second is the relation. So like what kind of file you are trying to connect. So right now we are trying to connect a style sheet. So that's why you always have to write here style sheet. It's fixed now. You cannot change. You cannot change it. It is going to be style sheet. Okay. Like easy, like you understood. Can you give me multiple classes for the? Can we give a multiple class? Yeah, Raj, you can give multiple classes to a same thing. We are going to do that as well. Okay, so like this is, and now you can basically go with that. Like everything is same. Nothing is going to change here. So I'm just going to use this background color right now, and let's have a separate background color, like this little darker one. Yeah. So make me pretty. So okay, so today we came to know about CSS, two ways to use CSS, like, and this is we called external CSS, yeah, external CSS, because we are basically applying a CSS from any external file. Okay, so that's why, and it's like most common way of using the CSS, like it's one of the best one, because I don't want to write my CSS inside my HTML here. Okay. And also we came to know about three selectors: id selector, tag selector, and the class selector. And we also came to know about the topic called specificity. Okay. specificity. Okay, so before ending this session, I'll just want to tell you about, like, we have to cover like some more topics. Like tomorrow we are just going to cover borders, box model and all. So let me just show you some, like, some things that we are going to learn tomorrow, like box model of CSS. So you can just do this kind of stuff, like padding. And I can also have, let's say, margin of 10 pixels, and let's have a border of so we are just going to understand about these concepts tomorrow, like the box model and all, and border radius. So like today we just covered what we today we just covered about the, what you say, about the selectors and all. Tomorrow we will cover the CSS properties and little bit more about CSS, like a difference. And one more thing we can use is internal, so I'll just tell you about that as well. Like, but before that I just want to tell you this, that if you don't remember, we are actually targeting to achieve like 50,000 employable developers, like by the end of like 2025. So this is our target that we are going to achieve anyhow. And if you just want to be the part of our journey, like if you want to be in this 50,000 employable developers, yeah, employable, not just developers, employable developers, like elite class. So in that case, you can just help us out, and you can help yourself just by visiting our website once. So just website letsupgrade.in, and here you will see two courses here. These two courses are our actual flagship courses, the full stack web development program and the data science program. And in these courses, you will get one-to-one classes every day for 90 minutes, like every day, 90 minutes. You will get your personal trainer here, and the trainers are not like a normal trainer. Those trainers are actually the developers who are working for real companies. So they are just going to teach you, they are going to train you, and they are going to make you employable. And we are going to cover 15 projects, like 15 projects in the time span of 6 months. And right now the courses price are like, let me just explore now. And I think the course price is almost 36,000. But you don't have to pay 36,000, because right now I'm just going to share a coupon code with you, and the coupon code is SK10. You can also find this coupon code in the description. Use this coupon code to get right away 10% off on these two courses here. Okay, so I hope I will see you in the classes. And also we have one more subscription model for you. So it's not like a service or subscription. It's a basically way to connect to the developer world, like how what is going in the industry right now. And you will get to learn about top best topics here, like GitHub, Java, JavaScript, Excel, blockchain, data visualization, responsive website, and much more. Just for the cost of 400 rupees, you will get 8 skills, 8 certificates in the time span of 60 days. And all the certificates will be like authorized by ITM and NSDS. So if you just want to upskill yourself, and if you just want to like change your career, so just try it once. And the prices are going to increase anytime, because the level of content you're going to get in this subscription model is far more pricier than just 400 rupees. So it is going to get increased at any moment of time. So it's the best time to get enrolled into our future depth subscription. Or you are if you're just you just want to like, if you're sure that you want to become a developer or software engineer, you can just get enrolled into these two courses here. Okay, so that's it for today, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. And in the tomorrow session we are going to learn something new stuff, and we are going to explore this whole thing tomorrow. And yeah, so by the way, again, sorry for that glitch and all. So you will not see that glitch tomorrow. And by that, I think day after tomorrow we will have our project day, and after that we will have a JavaScript session as well. So don't forget to watch tomorrow's live, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, take care, and your audience were great. Yeah.